Today I thought let's open a different drawer and pull out a handful of pens. And I thought, well, I haven't talked about Sheaffer pens in a long time. And I know Todd Merrill will help me out here, as well as anyone that knows how English works. But first of all, do I have a Sheaffer pen in my hand, or do I have a Sheaffer's pen in my hand? Well, according to the label right on the clip here, Sheaffer's with an apostrophe S. So if I have two of these, let's say, or more of them, these are all pens made by that same company, and I want to write a sentence saying I have 7 Sheaffer's pens. How do I write that out? Well, let's dip this in ink, and these are our choices, I think. Let me dip it in. I don't know if this pen, I have ever used this pen before. It's way more modern than I normally like, but here's our choices: Sheaffer. That's the singular. So Sheaff. ER apostrophe S apostrophe. Louise just joined us here talking about Sheaffer. I'll get to you in a minute, Louise. I just have to figure out how to spell this. There's one word in the English language that I love using, and it's the word shan't. And this is how George Bernard Shaw spelled it in his plays. SHA apostrophe N apostrophe T, because it's a contraction of shall not, which I think the way he spells it with the 2 apostrophes was quite lovely. I don't know if people do that now, but anyway, so Sheaffer's. This is a Sheaffer's. Made by Sheaffer's pen company. Is that the right word too? Possessive? Sheaffer's? Anyway, write your answers below and we can talk about it. So, in the pile of Sheaffer pens, this is what I normally would say. Oh, you have a new Sheaffer? Oh, that's a great Sheaffer. Well, I might have been wrong in that. Oh, and Flint. I haven't looked at these in ages, and these mainly are Triumph nib pens, which I really love the look of, but I don't generally like to write with because they're very stiff. But sometimes when I have them in my little hand, I think, oh, that's really cool. W.H. Denninger. And these include, like this one, a Sheaffer snorkel. So this has the snorkel thing that comes out. So you were taught not to use that in written English as it was lazy speech. Well, this was in a play when shan't was used. It was in a play by George Bernard Shaw, and he might have used lazy speech specifically for that purpose, to impart upon the reader or the listener of his plays that this person was lazy. I don't know. I think written speech and speech is different. Oh, I shan't do that. There's something really nice about that word. I also like other words that were popular at that time. Like, I daren't do that. I dare not do it. Daren't. Oughtn't. Shan't. Tina, what do you want? My cat is meowing. The working class. No, the working class don't have a choice of whether they do something or not. They have to do it. Oh, I shan't go to work today. Well, you better get your ass into that coal mine. So anyway, here's a bunch of Sheaffer's pens. Sheaffer's. Here's a bunch of Sheaffer's. And one of the things I like about this era of this particular pen is, even more than like the Parker 51 or the Parker or the Eversharp Skyline. Well, Eversharp Skyline was pretty close. So was the 51. But I love that the barrel and cap dimensions are about as similar as you could possibly make them on a pen of this era. You did have the Waterman pens of the late 1800s that had that too, but where when they were shut, they were one dimension all the way along. But there usually was this big step down, or a step down, that you see on modern pens, which generally, or almost universally, I do not like. I like pens that from here, anywhere where you might put your hand, sort of from the middle of the barrel all the way to the section, it's as least, it's as most uniform as you can make it. So must step out to feed the worker. Very funny. So anyway, here are some of these things. Now, occasionally I'll be fixing one, repairing one that I got at a show, or fixing one that's in a drawer that, or on my desk that I haven't repaired, and I'll put a sack in it. And I'll test it out, and I'll think, oh my God, this is really kind of fun. Let me try playing with this some more. And then I end up filling it with ink and playing with it all day. And do I hate every minute of it? I might not like the line that it makes, but I might love the fact that they're very smooth. And because they don't have generally a flexible nib, I'm not distracted by making calligraphic loop-de-loops. Okay, so let's talk about another thing I don't like about these pens. We'll go from things I like about them to things I don't like about them. A thing I like about them is what appears to be almost the streamlined shape. From the tip of the iridium to the end, it tends to be one graceful sort of curve. And aesthetically, I find that quite attractive. In addition, I find that, well, we'll just talk about that curve. I find that attractive. Okay, what's something that pisses me off about this pen? Well, a pen like this, need a new sack on that one. A pen like this one, which has this thing that screws on, sometimes you screw it on and the lever is way over here. I like my lever in the top of the nib to line up. I want it to look like that. And oftentimes they don't. They're on the side, so sometimes you can rewind it here and get into the groove a little bit differently. And now it's a little bit off kilter, but not perfect. And I don't know if they came out of the factory perfect or whether they didn't care. I have a feeling they didn't care. Now, someone can explain this better to me, but I don't know. Here it's almost upside down. Friedrich, okay. Friedrich, did you hear what I said just about this particular, the issue I'm talking about, how the lever, when on a screw, lever filling pen of this era, Triumph nib pen especially, how you screw it together and the lever is not lined up with the middle of the breather hole. I mean, what you'd have to do, I suppose, is tap the threads exactly, or I know, but it just seems like it's lazy. Now, if they made a 500 of these barrels during a work day and they had 500 sections to fit them on, I imagine there would be hours and hours and hours spent where they're trying to line them up, and eventually they'd find one that would work, and then they'd go to the next one. It seems like, and I don't know how to get around that. I think they could probably, I don't know, could they have made this better? The threading more exact? Anyway, it annoys me about these pens. I hate that they do that, and I will sometimes go around and I'll, unscrew. I'll take two that don't match and unscrew them and screw them back on and see if they match. But see, this one, even though the caps fit on each other, they're the same kind. This one does not have a white dot down there. It does have a white dot up there. This one has a white dot there and not there. So you can't have two white dots on a single pen. Yeah, and that's again something that I don't think, that's something that someone else can do in their perfect world. It's not where I'm going to go. But let's just take a look at these. Okay, this one is another one. This one is a touchdown filler, so it doesn't make any difference. There's no lever to line up. Is this the big fat size? Yeah, this is you like them when they're fat, don't you? This is a big fat one. I love these pens. They're so big and so fat. This one almost lines up. It's like one little tiny bit off. Yeah, you like those fat ones, don't you? So, and of course, and I will try to remember that the touchdown version of this pen is different from the snorkel version of this pen. And how are they different? You tell me how they're different. Friedrich, how are they different? Without looking at your collection, how are they different? How is the touchdown version of this pen different from the snorkel version. And then Bics and pencils, yeah. I must say, though, Friedrich, that I find the snorkel pencils to be really too thin. They don't want to. I just find them oddly too skinny. It's pretty damn skinny. You know, this is sort of the standard size pencil. These, I don't know, maybe I'd get used to them. No hole in, okay, yeah, so we're talking about, would you like to join me live, Friedrich? Do you have your pants on? For those of you just joining me or never seen me before, Friedrich, who essentially lives at home and doesn't need to put on pants to go to work. He, like many people, will just hang around in their underwear or pajamas or robe or nothing. So, hey, Clemente. Otherwise, you're indisposed. Okay, well, here's the difference, Friedrich. There's another difference. In addition to being unable to, it has to do with the barrel. And I don't remember which is which. Are these both snorkels? Snorkel? Snorkel. Are these both not snorkels? Not snorkel? Not snorkel. The barrels are shorter. Here's this. This is a snorkel. Snorkel's on top. Snorkel, touchdown. The barrels are that different. And okay, now which cap goes where? The caps, I think, are interchangeable. Yeah, it might be for that. I mean, they could have made a shorter spring. I mean, the snorkels were on the shorter one, right? No, the snorkels have the longer one, so that might have something to do with it. Hey, boss, the snorkel idea, we have to make a longer barrel. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Thought we could use the same old goddamn thing. Do you happen to have a spare feed for a Sheaffer's Admiral touchdown? Oh, I probably do. I have so many Sheaffer parts that, you know, I don't have the, you know, the barrels are cracked or something's wrong with them, and I'm just going to put them in a big bag and sell them at a pen show one day. So I probably do. I think isn't an Admiral a standard one? I don't Sheaffer pens. I don't know anything about them in terms of what they're. I mean, I know some Pen for Men and Tuck Away. I know some of the things. I never bothered to learn the differences of all the little variations. You know, the Admiral, the Senator. No, that's not what it's called. What are they called? See, those are the things that that's for grown-ups to talk about. I'm a child in that way. I don't. What is it? Not Senator. Sentinel. Yes, Sentinel. Admiral, Craft. You know, there are so many different ranks, we'll call it, of those pens, and it's not something that I ever paid attention to. And part of it was due to the fact, here's a, I don't know if it's rare, but here's a ballpoint pen version of the Triumph nib set. So you have the pen, the pencil, and the ballpoint, the ball pen. And how can you tell the difference? You might know this, Friedrich. Of course you know this. You know, you have both of these. Tuck-away ballpoint. Oh, that's what this is. This is a tuck-away ballpoint. They have a tiny, this is the only pen that a blind person could read. It has this little raised bump on the clip, which is really cool. Okay, answer me this, Mr. Expert Friedrich. There are some of these pens, I don't know if I have any of them here. Here's one. So I'll show you the difference between these two. Here are two tuckaways. The gold cap has a white dot above the little clip, and the silver one has a little white dot that's set in a gold raised button. What did the gold raised button signify? Mr. Expert. They are fun little pens, little tuckaways. They're like a Waterman 52V. They're way forward. Okay, it was. Yes, I have seen many caps that have the white dot ectomy on them. I don't know if I've ever seen them on a gold fill pen though, where the gold, it was it only the chrome caps that had the issues, and was it only on the pens, or did it occur on the? Oh, look at this! Look at this, Friedrich. The pencil has a little gold raised thing too. Such a cute little set. They have to be put together and remain together. Remain together. So anyway, I can see why if I fix one of these pens that I play with it for 1 second on my pad here, I'll think, oh, this is really fun. And I'll fill it up with ink and carry it around with me for a while. And then I'll eventually come to my senses and say, Why are you wasting your time carrying that pen that doesn't do anything? Yes, it's fun to look at. Really fun. It's fun to uncap. For example, I normally don't like pens that have gold and chrome together, but I love it on this one. I was saying how I didn't like it on the Parker 51, but I love it on this one because of the gold, the palladium silver part of the clip here. So you've got silver and gold, silver, gold, silver, gold. It's sort of nicely put together. And I can sit here and look at this pen and wax poetic about it for hours. So is this back to Clementi's question? This is a Triumph nib pen. I've never bothered to do anything with a Triumph nib pen. I don't know how to fix them. I put a sack in them, but I don't. If it's missing a, I don't. It's outside my wheelhouse. Oh, well, I should be able to. I don't know. Take a picture of it, Santos, and send it to me. I might be able to figure it out. But look at this one, Friedrich. This lovely line this one makes. It's so fine, as you said, your first comment about the fineness of Sheaffer pens. They really did know how to make excruciatingly tiny tips that were strong. So Friedrich, on the finest nib I have, I measured out 1 inch on a piece of paper, 1 inch this way. And then I did line work like this. And I looked under my loop to make sure the lines weren't next to each other. I mean, they were next to each other, but they didn't overlap. There was you get the electron microscope out and you would see something that looked like this line, enough of a space. Often, the space between the lines were equal. And I was able to, on my finest nib, I was able to get roughly 150 lines, distinct lines drawn next to each other in 1 inch. So if they were equidistant, where the in-between parts was the same as that would mean that each line was 1/300th of an inch wide. Does my micrometer even go that far? If I were to measure it with this, I don't know. That one is, it would be so, like, how do I even get the finest line here that I just made? Is that fine? Whatever that dimension is. So this pen, I may just have to take this as a set. Maybe I'll fill this up with ink and it's a touchdown. With touchdowns that I own, Friedrich, I have the little O-ring somewhere, but I used to be able to easily get them to work, but now my fingers don't work or my brain doesn't work or something doesn't work. So what I do is I just, fill it like this. Squeeze the sack, fill it with ink, put this back on, and try to very slowly put this on without the ink spilling all out. but it works pretty well. Maybe I'd halfway fill it. Yeah, many people come today to a fountain pen having grown up using Bic pens and roller balls and stuff like that, and they apply way too much pressure to make a line, and you have to remind them. Now, it's really hard to change your handwriting, but you have to remind them that you don't have to press down. The weight of the pen, I'm making a line right now. It's just the weight of this pen making that line, that seismograph of a line. And this isn't particularly heavy. So, you know, get to know get to know the fact that your pen, a good pen, you shouldn't have to apply any pressure to make the pen work. You know, maybe if you uncap it and you haven't used it in a week, it might take a little nudge or something to make it go. But yeah, well, hello, Todd. So I have a question. This has to do with, I have a pen in my hand, Todd Merrill. What is this a Sheaffer pen or is this a Sheaffer's pen? Well, the correct answer is it's a Sheaffer's pen. So if you have two of them in your hand, how do you pluralize a possessive? So I have two Sheaffer's pens. Two Sheaffer's pens. Oh my God, this is that's another ballpoint, or that is the ballpoint I had. It's the same ballpoint. So it's Sheaffer apostrophe S apostrophe. So there's two apostrophes in plural Sheaffers. I have a collection of Sheaffers. No, a collection. My pen collection, because a collection of Sheaffers might be, you're talking about a single collection. So maybe you could say a collection of Sheaffers with apostrophe S. But if you say my pen collection has 10 Watermans and 10 Sheafferses, does Waterman have a apostrophe? Probably. No, it doesn't sound right, but it would be right. It would be more correct. Now, does Waterman have an apostrophe? Where are my boxes? That's ever sharp. Waterman's too. So Waterman's is. Most of my pens that I use are Waterman's. We should just have plurals that end in I, like not octopuses, because that's not right. I mean, octopuses is right. Octopi is wrong. Radii is how many I've drawn. This circle is drawn with 20 radii to imitate the spoke of that bicycle tire. when they were sold. Oh, when they were sold. I suddenly had this idea of George Salustro at the Bromfield pen shop. Oh, you want to buy this pen? Oh, let me get up my grinder, and he grinds off the S. Okay, when the companies were sold, they took off the. Thanks for buying that Waterman's. Oh, wait, don't go. Get out his little chisel, his little buffer. So Todd Merrill and Friedrich, you did see my video, of course you did, of my Wherever pen and pencil set with an app. Here's the set with an app. It has a spell check because it has a Webster dictionary. And I love this because it's the popular Webster dictionary, self-pronouncing with a hyphen, but this dictionary is not published by the original publishers of Webster's dictionary or by their successors. It's like what A.A. Waterman had to put on their goddamn pens. Not connected with the L.E. Waterman. Yes, it is like that. Anyway, it's what we do to screw our fellow human being, sell them knockoff dictionaries. One of the Boston pen collector group people, Sid, had one of these, same thing, Wherever pen and pencil set that included a little atlas that was this side. So that would have been the map app. Though you'd have to, open it up to the correct page and put your little blue dot where you're located. But and because it was such a shitty, small, thin, small map, the map of France might have Paris and Lyon on it or something, or Marseille, but probably not Saint-Cloud or the other things. I just bought a tape right. Oh, I saw that. No, I don't think that they were. I don't think the tape right was any more cheaply made than the regular Waterman fountain pen of that time. The nib had less gold in it, so that would have been cheaper. But I think they were probably harder to put together to make the nib line up with the feed and all of that other stuff. It's much more difficult to. Yes, you mean cheaper today in buying a pen, or do you mean cheaper in manufacturing or plastics, or what do you mean by that, Todd? That might be fighting word. Those might be fighting words. Less quality. Yes, they are less. The quality had gone down with all pens during that era, I suppose. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I mean, Parker 51s were made in that era, and they're the epitome of quality. So, flimsier lever. Okay. Some of them were cheaper. Some had crappier plastic, but I find them, and they had that transparent end on some of them, which corrodes. But and yes, and the caps can be pretty bad. But here are some of mine. Yeah, the wash comes off of the cap pretty easily. And these, the the cap comes off, but the band stays on. These also were sort of badly designed, but yeah, the Patrician, I think, is one of the ugliest pens ever made. I refer to it as having a hose clamp band. Their cap liner usually. I'd have to look at mine to see if that's the case. I think if they have the clutch system, anything behind it would still be there. Anyway, I used to go to pen shows and find Taperites, which most people didn't like. And I would buy them as inexpensively as I could because I knew that I could. What they did have was usually a flexible nib, a nib that would provide a little bit of flex, and I could sell those instead of a 51 to someone for maybe a little less money. And they'd get a pen that would make a prettier line. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole I just find the 51's shape to look like it was done by a boy. I'm going to call him a boy in shop class because I don't think they let girls have a power tool anywhere near them back in those days. Made by a guy in shop class who got maybe a B average. It's just the step down, and there's I can't think of a thing about a Patrician that I like. The nib is nice. The nib is kind of nice with its double incised line, Caslon open face sort of font on Patrician, and the little diamond or whatever shape that breather hole was. But everything about that pen, I don't like the lever. I don't like the clip. I certainly don't like the band. I like the fact that it has that gold globe thing on the back, but I don't like it. Give me a what else did they make it? Number 7. Those, or an Ink View. Those pens are so much more, even a black Ink View with the 3 bands, and its clip is probably just as shitty, but it looked better. Why don't you just get one of these pens to show the people, Pierre? They don't know what we're talking about. don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, I have something to show you people. I love this one that has the little globe at the top of the clip. This is very worn. Has this little gold dot on the top. This is so much more elegant than a patrician. This one with the 3 gold bands. The clip is still sort of badly put together, but I love the way they look. I have a very funny thing to show you people. Are you ready? Some of you will get it, but many of you won't. This is Jeff Krasner would come over to my place every once in a while to look for a part to complete a pen he was looking to, and he said, I would like to look through your noble shard collection. And what I'm going to show you is the noblest of shards. And Friedrich and Todd will understand the humor in this. Ready? Look at that. Has there ever been a more noble shard? For those people in the room that don't understand what the hell I'm talking about, many times you'll find this pen, which is a Waterman 100-year pen, where this part is broken. Yes, that's impossible. Yes, this is impossible. This is an impossible thing. How did this survive and everything else fall apart? I once owned, here's another weird thing. I once owned a Parker Red Giant. Okay, it was missing its nib. The cap was perfect. The barrel was perfect. The feed was perfect. So what's left, people, in that with that pen? I'll try to illustrate it if I can. The part that was broken is a part that is almost never broken on a pen. So here's the feed, the section rather, a screw section. It had this huge chunk out of the section. So this would be a dotted line to show what it's supposed to look like. And then there's this big, it's like someone took a hammer and just cracked it. It's just so weird. Yeah, I mean, I just think that noble shard is too funny for me to sell, because it is cute that it did exist. Somehow the recipe that went into that pen survived. See, this is starting to decay here. This is going to turn into dust at some point, as will that. I rather, oh, this is missing its little ball. I rather like this pen. This pen, the 94. This is what it's supposed to look like, with the gold fill bits on the brown vein thing. This one has chrome bits, which is a reverse plating or whatever they call it. I love this color. I used to like these. I still do. The red and ooh, what's wrong with this nib? It has a crack. This is an accountant nib that someone tried to turn into a number, a pink nib by, there's a crack going back from the breather hole. Quite a bit further down. It goes through the Waterman, through the M of the Waterman, and it stops at the E of ideal. But it's still a lovely nib. Why they crumble. Sticker but broken off end. Only one tine. Oh dear. What a lovely pen this is. Oh dear. What was this called? Persian. See, that's turning into mush up here. Poor thing. Ooh, what kind of nib does this have? This has a brown nib. Now, a brown nib is the love child of an accountant nib and a pink nib. So I often refer to brown nibs as the poor man's pink. They're really beautiful. And I feel more comfortable using one of these than a pink. Yeah. Poor Persian. I posted something today on the fountain pen thing. I don't know if you saw it, but it's Clifton Webb being asked to endorse a pen in the movie Laura. And Clifton Webb is one of these actors who continually played the prissy, obnoxious snob with confirmed bachelor written all over his role. But there was let me find it.
I don't use a pen. I write with a goose quill dipped in venom.
Yes, but this is a very fine pen, Mr. Lydecker. The best on the market. Wouldn't you at least consider endorsing it?
I'll neither consider, endorse, or use the Wallace pen. I hate pens. I don't use a pen.
Hey, Wendy Sue.
Goose quill dipped in venom.
Yes, but
You work for Clifton Webb. He's constantly cavilling. Fountain Pen Network. Wendy Sue, when am I going to have you live on this program with me? And I can write your names 10 times over and keep asking you because I keep forgetting. Wendy had the misfortune, we'll call it, of meeting me when I was shit-faced at the unfed and quite drunk, drinking on an empty stomach at the Philly Pen Show. Oh, okay. Cavilling. Okay. No, it was a delight. The way you described it on your channel was really, really fun. And you kept on laughing every time. And then Pierre came up and asked me my name again. Giggle, giggle. And then he did it again. Cavill. Cavilling. Anyway, there's a really fun version. I think it's in the same movie, maybe not, where he's trying on a dressing gown and he complains to the tailor that the robe tie, the belt, doesn't sway enough. I want it to sway. This one just bubbles. Yeah. Was that the first show you were at, Wendy? I can't remember what you had said about that. And Wendy, do you have your clothes on? Sorry for bringing it up. Are you ready? Can you turn your camera on without trouble? It would be fun to chat with you. And the reason I said about the clothes is that Friedrich often will mention, "Oh, I have to put my pants on," but he doesn't show his waist on down. It's mainly just his face that's talking. Yeah, I would love to have you join me. So let me add you. And I would like to do this another time if I can with you when we can plan more. Copy. Edit, paste. Does clothes are optional in my house when I'm alone. When I have visitors, I put them on. Oh, okay. So this was perhaps your second show. So Wendy, what you do is click on or hit that link that I sent you that's in the text, and then you'll join me via StreamYard, which is via Safari. Then you have to turn off before I invite you in, you have to turn off YouTube, otherwise we'll have an echo. Add to stage. Look at us.
Hello. Here we are.
Have I written your name before?
You have a few times. My favorite, though, is this a swearing-free channel? Can I tell my favorite story from that night? You came up and asked Aziza's name, and you were like, "I'm sorry, what?" And she said Aziza, and so we tried to spell it for you, and so you wrote some approximation of Aziza. There were some Z's in there, there were some A's in there, and then you wrote, "What the fucking fuck?" It was so good. Oh man, it made me laugh and laugh. That was a fun night.
It is. Normally, when I'm writing people's names, I would not include "what the fucking fuck" underneath their name.
Oh my god, it was so funny. Well, and it was maybe the last name you wrote. Like after that, you kind of disappeared.
Well, after that, I tried to stand up on my hind legs and walk out the hotel, and ended up flat on my face. So did you come out and help me up, or did someone?
No, I didn't even know that. I may have gone to bed because I was like, look, I have stuff to do tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Were you still there when I came down in my apron?
I don't remember.
I don't think you must have been gone. So I have this apron that I made that's like a normal fabric on the outside, and then underneath it has hunky lumberjack men on it.
Oh,
and nice. So I told them that I was going to bring it, And so when I got back up to my room, I was like, oh, I have to show them that I actually brought it. So I'm wearing like a little bodysuit, kind of like I am now. And I put it on and I get in the elevator, and the pilot guy gets in the elevator with me on the 26th floor. And we have to ride down. And I'm like wearing this little half apron, like, how's it going? It's 11:30. I'm wearing a little French maid apron. What? I don't know. At least I had the men facing inside. So then I went and showed them all, and then I went back to bed.
Do you have that apron in your house right now?
I do. I don't know where it is.
Okay, well, we'll save it for next time. When you run
Next
across
time,
it, say,
yeah.
I'm going to put this next to the pen area so that Pierre can see.
Totally. It's so funny. I only wore it for one of the classes. One of the classes we were making inky messes, I wore it. And it's just like a half apron, so it was fun to bring it and just have and be random.
So what is a half apron? I mean,
it just ties around the waist. It doesn't have like the bib part.
I see. So it's more, yeah, I don't even know what, I guess you would call it
full apron, half apron. I don't know.
Just trying to think of, I mean, when you think of aprons, you think of chefs in the kitchen or painters or something.
I wonder if I think I know where it is. I'm going to see if I can find it.
I don't know whether I would call that a skirt or a.
Right. Mine's like a skirt. It's like it's like a housewife apron. It has ruffles on it. It's not flat like a chef apron. Let me see if I can find it. I know, and that's why it's so funny. And I made it to take camping, and that's why it has lumberjacks on it and not some other kind of.
This is something that you fashioned.
I did.
Out
of fabric.
So, in the fabric store where you found this, did they have a hunky guy section where you could?
They did have a hunky guy section. There's a company called Alexander Henry that put out all kinds of amazing fabrics. They put out the Hunky Men series. They put out this wonderful series called the Ghastlies. They're kind of these little witchy, cute little like grumpy ladies. And they have just recently, like in the last year, decided they weren't going to do it anymore. And so they sort of folded and upside down. So everyone's really sad. But all right, let's see. I've got a flippy to Kimmery aroundy. Nope, that's not what I want to do.
You can just hold up you don't have to show me what it looks like on you.
I know. Okay, so here's the regular fabric on this side, but see how it has like ruffles and stuff on it? So I just tied it around my waist. Yeah. And then on the other side, it has the hunkas. Isn't that funny?
I think I would have remembered that even if I was passed out.
You were blitzed. The fisherman guy is my favorite. Oh, so funny. They were, and what's funny is all these people, I had not met anyone. When I went to Philly, it was like, I knew a couple people from online I'd connected with, but I'd never met anyone in person. And so you never know, like, how much weird can I let fly here? And it turns out a lot.
I think
so,
the Pen Show
that was good.
Is probably the most, other than like a Comic-Con show or those sci-fi meetups where people wear their Venusian or their Martian costume. I think we're pretty open to wardrobe things.
Yep.
So I'm going to see
really fun.
If I can find. I have one apron that is so cool. I wish I could put it on, but it barely covers even the smallest part of me. But let me see if I can find it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Anybody who's watching. This is fun. I didn't expect to do this today. I'm working on doing coloring dipper. This is my newest attempt at swatching my inks. I'm terrible at swatching inks. This is my new attempt.
Located, but I can easily describe it.
Okay, great.
It was an apron that I imagine was purchased during World War II by a U.S. sailor at the Annapolis gift shop or something for his mother or girlfriend, because the apron itself was very, very small, and it was made of navy blue satin.
Mm.
So you can imagine how inadequate it would be
I was going to say,
as
wildly impractical.
And then on the above the waist part, it had the U.S. Navy seal with the anchor and
Right. Oh,
a
cool.
foiled rope, and I think it said U.S. Navy or something in gold
Funny.
embroidered lettering. But it just cracked me up because
Where did you
in my
find this apron,
mind,
Pierre?
I went to the movie with Alan Hale Sr. playing the submarine's cook during the depth charging, and I was just imagining him trying to wear this thing
We're the
with
satin apron.
with a blue satin apron that
That's so
might have
funny.
covered.
That's
I mean, it was
hilarious.
very narrow.
Yeah.
And
Well, women were very small back then. They didn't really have internal organs.
they didn't have internal. No,
Yeah. They were
they,
squished
they
up
were
real tightly.
only I think back in those days it was by law you had to be barefoot and pregnant, so that they would have to have
Yeah.
had ovaries, I suppose,
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But
and
that's it. That was it.
maybe mammary glands, but nothing
Yeah.
else. They weren't needed.
Yep.
Anyway, Friedrich was just saying we need custom fabric. I can certainly design that, Friedrich. I've designed fabric that have repeating patterns like wallpaper. It's really kind of fun to do. And he said that he once had fabric. Friedrich had fabric that had naked men carrying fountain pens, but I don't. I want. Oh, we need some. Oh, we need some. Okay, well, I can design some for you, Friedrich.
Perfect. I have some pen fabric, but it's not naked men. It's just pens.
I have some pen fabric too. I During COVID, I had created a someone. We had a number of quilters that lived in my building, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the quilters had subsequently had some kind of a stroke, so she wasn't able to move her hands in any controlled way. So she brought down scads and not bolts because they were never that big, but she
Right,
brought
but
down
yards and yards, probably.
yards and yards, maybe two 2 yards square of
Mm-hmm.
fabric that had hunky men on it, and they were all shirtless firemen. So probably maybe the
I bet
same
it's
company.
Alexander Henry.
It might be.
I bet it's that company.
So I selected a section, and I said, this is what I want you to make my COVID mask out of. So, people looking at me at where my mouth would be, they would see this beefy boy with his
Awkward.
with not awkward at all. It's perfect. And I also wore they had in the piece of in the collection of fabric, there was also one that had eye charts on it, with the E's,
Mm-hmm.
different sizes, and letters, different sizes, repeated. So I had them make a mask. I had people in my building were making masks for
Mm-hmm.
each other, and I had them make one of those because I was going to the optometrist that day, and I
Okay.
wore that mask for that. And I said, well, I have to go to the gynecologist next. I'll put on that.
See which one you should do.
put
Ugh.
on that mask.
I made so many masks and other things during COVID, and I made like Ruth Bader Ginsburg masks that had like the black pleats with the lace collar. My dentist needed scrub caps because had never had to use scrub caps before, and so I made her these scrub caps. She's still using them. I mean, they are like threadbare. I was like, "Girl, I can make you new ones." She's like, "Nope, these are vintage." I'm wearing
So,
them every time I go in there. She still has them on.
so Wendy, one of the things that I make, and I think you would get a kick out of it, is I make little framed. Um, they're sort of like shadow boxes without the glass. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you could put glass
Gotcha.
if you want to, but so I made. Here's one that I made using fake zebra
Oh, fun.
And so I've got my sterling and hard rubber um, uh, watch chains holding, connected with the sterling Parker pens. And if I want to use them, I just take off the
Yeah,
back
that's
and
cool.
use them. But most of them that I've made are ones that I hang on the wall like this. This is a long, skinny
That's
frame,
super cool.
and then I had red leather that someone was throwing away a red leather coat that was ripped. So I made these
That's
pockets
awesome.
out of red leather. So now I use these to display the pens on the
Those
wall.
are awesome.
But you might like or be offended by
You
the
never
one,
know. I'm
the two,
pretty hard to offend.
the two that I'm going to show you now. As soon as I can figure out how to put this back on the nail. Well, I'm not finding the nail, so I'll leave it out till I can. So here's this one, and these are pens that I put ladies. I used it to hold these pens. These are Waterman pens that with the
Is
little
that an
tiny nib.
Edson? Oh no, that's the lady.
The Lady Corinth or whatever they were
Gotcha.
called.
Okay.
And I have them. They fit into this little thing. So
Yes.
it was a lace corset.
That's
So I
awesome.
just tuck these into the cleavage there or whatever.
Perfect. That's what I
And
would
then
do.
I had this one, and this one is might be more offensive. So I have this fake fur,
That's awesome.
and then I have my Lady Sheaffer script certs shoved
Nice.
into this thing. So
That's fun. I like it.
so
In one of my other lives, right around the time of COVID, in fact, the day that they put out the executive order that we were shutting everything down, I was traveling and my sister-in-law kept talking about her featherweight sewing machine, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I do not understand the words coming out of your mouth. What are you talking about? And she said, oh, I'll show you. And so she showed me this adorable little sewing machine. And I was like, well, that's cute. Why don't I have one of those? So that was how I spent my pandemic. Was I found one on Goodwill and I bought it and I learned how to fix it up. And so still now, 5 years later, I teach once a month a class for people to maintain their own.
okay.
And so I don't sew much anymore because I'm always working on everybody's machines because I'm the only person in the area that's a specialist in this one particular machine. It's very funny.
So the featherweight is some sort of sewing machine that I could look it up, I
Yeah, it's a
suppose.
Singer. No, I'll tell you. I'll just give you the rundown. It's a Singer machine. It was made from 1933 to 1969. And
Okay.
it weighs right around 11 pounds. So it's portable, which was completely different from everything, cast iron in a cabinet back then. And it has a fold up bed on it. So it folds up to be about this big, really easy to travel with. I take mine on the plane all the time.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. They have beautiful finish, beautiful details, and quilters love them. They make an incredible, beautiful straight
So
stitch.
they look like
Yep,
that.
that's exactly it. Yep, that's it. And so
So
that's my specialty machine.
wow. I found we have a room in our building, in the laundry room in our building, where people put things they want to get rid of that they don't want to just throw out. And someone had put this really cool sewing machine that was very small and compact, like that one, except it looked very industrial. It looked like it was made by the same company that built the Lexington aircraft carrier. I mean, there was nothing even remotely rounded or, and what I'll try to
Right.
do, Wendy, if you can, send me an email one day,
Let
sometime
me get
soon.
my paper and yeah. Let me write down your email address. Hold on. Let me find you'd think I'd have paper everywhere on this desk, but it's
I
all
would think,
allocated
I
to
would think that.
something.
Well, here's my email right here, Pierre Gustafson Studio at Gmail. So it's my name with the word studio at Gmail. I'll be right back. I'll see if I can find it right now.
All right, it's a mouse. All right, in here. Sorry, we kind of took a sewing turn on the channel today, everyone. wrote it down. Okay, I have some of my these are my coloring dipper cards that I'm doing, and I'm writing the names of the inks on them. I started with Sailor inks because I have a bunch sitting right here. Manyo, this is Akamai. Oh, come off.
Well, I'm unable to find, but I will look later. So you have my email, Pierre Gustafson
Yep,
Studio
I wrote it down.
at Gmail. Okay, good.
Yep.
So send me an email today when you're done, and I
Okay.
will. When I find it, I'll send you a picture. But
Okay.
I once in that same.
What I always say is, at the end of the world, it's going to be a cockroach and a Singer sewing machine. In the end of the world,
Yeah.
That's how it's going to end, because they're built like tanks.
And an Underwood typewriter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pierre, I've been telling everyone I'm working on this color card project. I'm trying to swatch this again. I'm terrible at it. I do it for a little while and then I don't do it. And so now I'm doing it again.
I missed what you said because the sound went out. What are you doing now again?
Sorry, I'm trying to swatch my inks again.
Oh.
Every time I try, I end up not liking the system that I chose. And so then I start over and try something else and buy all the supplies for it. And so this morning, you caught me when I caught you. I was working on these little dipper. Have you ever seen these little dipper cards? They just go on a little chain.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here dipping inks.
Oh, good. Someone on the fountain pen enthusiast group showed her collection of pens, and how do I keep my ink straight? What ink I have in which pen? And I came up with what I thought was a brilliant idea, and someone thought it was as well. Let me just see if I can find that feed, that notice. And you know, I'm one of these people who just uses Waterman Black, and I, for 9/10 of the, it's easy for me to keep it straight. But let me just find fountain pen enthusiasts. So someone had showed her collection, and it had here's the picture she showed. So all of these boxes or drawers have pens, and then she has all of her inks above. And she had said that she has 15 of them inked, but how do I remember what ink is in what pen? So I said, well, what you do is if this is the pens that are inked are just in that line, you line up the inks in the same order.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to write anything down. You
just guess. I have like 100 pens inked, and I can still get pretty close on a guess of what's in them.
Well, on my drawing table, I would put blue ink in a pen that was blue, and I would put red ink in a pen that was red. So at least I would get close enough to know.
I do that sometimes too.
If I had to mix a particular green ink for a particular job, generally when that job was done, I wouldn't need that ink anymore. I'd still keep it, but it didn't have a purpose to be used anywhere else necessarily. So I'm I would love to talk to you on a time when we can maybe focus more on it, is about your love of all these different colors of ink.
Yeah, I have a lot of ink.
And why do you need that much ink? And things that we can talk about, you can think about in advance.
Yeah. No, I don't need to think. I can actually tell you part of it. So I just did a video recently on my channel about, because I love to make inky messes. I just put ink on the paper and blow it around with a blower, mess around. And so I did a video pretty recently. I got some photo paper from the thrift store.
Yep.
And so we were taking bets about like, how's fountain pen ink going to go on photo paper, like inkjet
Yep.
photo printer paper.
Yeah, I
And it's
know.
really cool.
It is
It's
cool
very fun.
because it sits on top. It's like
Yep.
it's magical in a way.
Yeah. And then it eventually
I do that
dries.
too. And I
And
also
this one was one,
yeah,
this is one that I did with just 3 colors. I just did yellow,
okay,
magenta, and cyan, and then blew it all together.
yeah,
So I got all the purples and greens and everything just from that ink mixing kit that I have. So that's kind of why I love ink. And then I'm also a gifter. So I love
okay,
having inks that I can share with other people. I love
okay,
having, and to be honest, I have been gifted so much ink. It's not even funny. I
okay.
mean,
It's a
a lot.
tragedy. It's a tragedy.
It's so sad.
The
So
tragedy
sad.
of the gifted
Somebody
ink.
was asking me about a particular Birmingham ink, and I was like, I think I have that one. I don't think I bought that one, but I think somebody gave it to me. And so he's been all nervous because he can't buy it. And I was like, well, I'm sure I have it. Let me find it and get some to you. So that's another thing because I'm kind of a doomsday prepper in that way. I backup of the backup of the backup.
Well,
Okay, so here's what I do.
I
Here's my bottle, and I just
yeah,
cram it in there.
okay. So um I like that idea that you're doing, but the thing that's bad about that idea, I will tell you, is for example, a friend of mine was having his business cards redone, and he chose a particular color green that he wanted the type to be printed in, and he complained all the time that it wasn't the same ink, it wasn't the same color. This is darker, this is darker, this is darker than that. Well, a swatch of ink
Oh yeah,
appears
totally different.
different than a line of ink, and
Mm-hmm.
and also if you, I think what might be better or in addition to what you just did, is to draw a line with that same ink where it's a
Mm-hmm.
fine line to a pressured line so
Right,
that you can see what the ink actually ends up being, because if you just
like
have
in a pen.
if you have the lightest touch on the paper, you're not going to get the paper absorbing the ink you do when you press down on it, because
Right.
the not only is there more ink coming out on the paper, but it also might
Mm-hmm.
tear some of the fibers of the paper and things like that,
Yeah.
so it actually absorbs more ink in the color. But I mean,
Yeah.
so the swatches are good in the sense that they will show you
They give me a good way to
one thing,
eyeball it.
but it doesn't show what it will actually look like as
Yeah.
on. It'll look fine.
I'll
It'll
show you
show what you.
another.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is another way I do it. So this is actually on onion skin paper. And so with this one, I actually do write with the ink with a dip pen.
yeah.
So I use the same ink and I do a little wash in different thicknesses. And then I
Yeah,
write with the ink to
with the
see.
nib.
And
Yeah,
then it's on onion skin. So it sounds like this.
yeah. I
This is a book that I just
love the sound of the tip.
doodle and make messes in.
So, Wendy, I do use Epson inkjet paper or Kodak or whatever they're made. Hewlett
Mm-hmm.
Packard ink paper for your home computer, photo paper to draw on sometimes. But I also use photo paper, the actual kind that you use in a darkroom.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
And
cool.
what's neat there is, of course, the paper, you draw on it and then you show it to someone in the light of day, and the paper turns gray because
Yeah,
it's developing in the
not
sunlight.
developed.
So,
Yeah,
but that even is an interesting uh, paper to try.
yeah.
Uh, Other things I write on are paint swatches. And if you
Mm-hmm.
go to, you might not be able to get these at your local Home Depot or Lowe's, but I have, because they give you little swatches, but I
Right.
have friends in the building that are architects and interior designers. So they give me their whole books that have big sheets of that same color. And what's neat there is sometimes well, I'll just find some. Hold, don't go away.
Friedrich, I see your comment about using business cards and baseball card. I have done that also, and I did not keep up with it. So the point of the coloring dipper for me is that they just go on a little chain like this. And so I'll put them, especially for these Sailor inks that are all mostly numbered, I'll put them in here in number order so that I'll just have a little swatch of those. But I have done the wearing gold cards. I have tried the full size coloring cards. I've tried the coloring flip cards, file cards. I just don't stick to it because I have too much stuff coming in and out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. Life happens, and then I have to go teach sewing machine, and then I'm like, oh well, no ink swatching today. So,
and then
what I need to do is, I need to get my child to do it for me.
These are, I mean, just because these swatches. Oh, she went away. Let me invite her again. I don't know if she meant to go away. I don't think I accidentally deleted her. Oh, you're back. You're back.
I'm back. I got kicked out for a second.
Oh, did I do that?
No, it was me. It was 100% me.
Okay. So here are some paint swatches. Now, when you get a paint swatch, even at the paint store, this is paint. It's not a printed thing. You're drawing on latex or oil paint, and some of it is very waterproof, and some of it seems the ink sits on it. So it's really, you never know that what it's going to be like until you actually scribble on it. And I'm using sort of watered down ink, and this may take a day to dry.
I was going to say the better part of a day.
And so, but it's really, really fun. And then you can you can take your paintbrush and dissolve it, because the ink that I use, almost all the ink I use is water soluble, and that's probably most of the ink that you use. I suspect there might be, there are some inks that say they're waterproof. I would normally never use those in a fountain pen, but I have used platinum carbon ink, because
platinum carbon's pretty good.
that it does work. But
you know what I use too? Have you ever tried Octopus Fluid's Write and Draw inks?
No.
If you let them dry in a fountain pen, just like anything, it's not good to let them dry in a fountain pen, but as long as they stay, you keep it flowing, they're great, and they're very waterproof.
Now, do you have to, I mean, I have only pens that fill with rubber sacks.
I know, I wouldn't. If I were you, I wouldn't. I only do it in modern pens. Like I use that I have a TWSBI Vac Mini with a flex nib in it that I use one of those Octopus Fluids inks to address envelopes. So the envelopes are, relatively water resistant.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But I like it because they have lots of colors. Because
well,
you get a document, gray, black.
Again, this is something that I'm not normally seduced by, but when I open a bottle of Pelican blue ink and I see how beautiful it is, I think, oh my God, like why am I using boring black? But black allows me
always looking at colors.
Black allows me always to get the greatest contrast.
That's true.
That you can get.
Well, and you're an artist. I am not an artist.
Yeah.
I'm a tinkerer.
A tinkerer. Well, again, with me, when I do a drawing, usually I have to scan it in, and it's always easy to just have it all be black.
Right.
Let's see what people are saying here.
Friedrich, you're right. And they still have a Baroque line that you can buy. I actually have some Octopus Fluids inks that are supposed to arrive today or tomorrow from Fountain Veda. You guys, my phone just went down to 5% battery, so I have to go soon because I'm going to get kicked out.
My iPad also, this iPad, when it gets down to, it's right now it's at 37%, but it it goes rapidly. It's even plugged in, and it might stop. And I don't want this lovely conversation that I'm having with you not to. If it crashed right now, this thing would not exist. So I want to make
So
sure
let's
that
close it up.
So, but let's do this.
I will send you an email. I have your email address right here.
Yeah. And then let's do one where we do talk about ink color. I know another person that loves drawing with, writing with, doing calligraphy with lots of inks is Ms. Marilyn.
Miss Marilyn Darling, yeah, absolutely.
Do you know her enough?
I do. I know her. I mean, we're aware of each other, I guess I should say. We've never met.
Would you be willing to be in a threesome with me and her?
Always.
Where we're all talking about ink colors.
Sounds great. I'd love to.
I mean, she's really fun, and I think that I would be generally pretty quiet. I would just be the fly on the wall as you two talk about it. But I think
sounds good.
I think that would be fun. So let's plan on that. And Wendy, I look forward to getting your email, and we can schedule when we do a live thing sometime.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. This is before my working hours, so.
Okay, very good.
We'll look up.
See you later.
Awesome.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, friends. Have a great day. Bye.